So my question today is about evangelism. I found that for quite a few people in my life, the topic of Christianity comes up very naturally, and you see the Holy Spirit leading people to Christ over time and sort of answering prayers about that. But I've been wondering about how, as Christians, we should interact with those who really don't seem interested or even pretty hostile to Christianity, where it doesn't really seem to come up naturally. So I was just wondering if you have some guidance or advice for how to deal with those situations as best as possible.
Sure.
Like bringing it up anyways, showing love, or I'm not really sure.
Right. Yeah. There's not one thing that you would always do except to always be led by the Holy Spirit. But I would suggest a general principle would be if you have found somebody to be hostile to Christianity, that is, they've told you that they are, because they know that you're a Christian, they've shown hostility towards you and toward your faith, then I would say back down. I mean, you've already told them where you stand, and then live that life before them so that they can be impressed. Jesus said, let your light shine before men so they'll see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So the idea would be that if you can't talk to them, then just live in front of them and show yourself to be, well, as Paul put it, adorning the gospel by living a life that is clearly a good life, a life that anyone would feel when they see it, yeah, I should live that way too. That person is better than I am in the way they live. Not that you're trying to be better than they are, but just show them what it is to be a follower of Christ. Now, of course, then they may ask more about it. If they ask, then, of course, you're ready to give an answer to them. But if you already know and they've expressed that they're not interested in hearing it from you, well, they at least know you're a Christian. And then, you just live like a Christian and don't be judgmental and don't be unfriendly, but just be like Jesus. And a lot of people, I think, were won over by Jesus because he was as he was. Now, if the person is is hostile toward Christianity, but they don't know that you know it, let's just say you overheard them, or maybe it's a professor at college or something, speaking very hostile toward the Christian faith, I think it'd be good if you have any conversations with them about any subject, for you to simply let it be known that you are a Christian, and that if they ever want to talk to you about the reasons why you're a Christian, you'd be glad to talk to them. If they say, well, I don't want to talk about it, well, then don't. If they do want to talk about it, then that's an open door. If when you talk to them, you find that they're simply blocking everything you say because they don't want to hear it, then you may decide that you're casting your pearls before swine. And Jesus said, don't bother to do that. But you can't always be sure, because sometimes people put up a bold front of resistance, but they really are very insecure. And the reason they're insecure is because they're not sure that you're not right. They don't want you to be right, but they are not entirely sure that you're not. And so they feel insecure, they feel threatened. And so make sure you're not threatening. You might think that they're the ones who seem threatening because they're so hostile. But again, nobody is that hostile toward a view that they're against, unless they're fairly insecure about their own view. I don't mind if I talk to an atheist or a Buddhist or a Hindu or a Jew. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'd love for them to become Christians. That's up to them, between them and God. And I want to talk to them about Christ if they'll listen. But I'm not threatened by their disagreeing with me. And that's because I know why I believe. I don't think they know why they do. And that's usually the case. Someone who's very hostile toward Christianity very seldom knows why. And when it comes down to if they ask themselves why, it usually has more to do with something emotional on their part, a reaction to something emotionally about Christianity that they don't like, rather than some actual rational reason to not, because frankly, there are no rational reasons to reject Christianity, or certainly there's none to be hostile toward it. So a person could reject Christianity and not be hostile. They might just say, I'm not convinced, I'm not a Christian, I'm not following Jesus. But that's okay if you do, But if someone's hostile toward it, they really are, it's an emotional reaction, not an intellectual one. And probably that emotion is a dead giveaway that they are pretty insecure. They feel threatened, that they have to keep Christianity at such an arm's length, lest it defeat them. And in so many cases, it actually does, because it is true